Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Today, I got a pretty interesting episode for you guys, and I got a lot that I want to say, so make sure you stick around to the end. But before we do that, make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. We got somebody outside making noise, cutting something, so just bear with us for today. I can't go out there and tell them to stop. Anyway, so let me get into this topic here. So it's been a while since I've talked about the Lakers, right? Some people have been asking us, hey, what are your thoughts on the Lakers? What are your thoughts on Russell Westbrook? When are you going to get to it? And we had other content planned, so we didn't have an opportunity to get to any of that. However, let me start here. So last season, what did I say? I said it religiously all of last season. I said the two best teams I thought in the Western Conference were the Lakers and the Clippers. I thought these were the two best teams. I thought the Lakers roster last year just made a lot of sense. Although they weren't a great three-point shooting team, they did play great defense. I thought they had a lot of balance. And I liked the fact that LeBron James was running their offense, right? Because one could argue that he's the smartest basketball player in the entire NBA. He knew where to put his teammates to be successful. Yesterday, I was watching a documentary on Netflix called Bad Sports. And the point guard was saying that I'm the point guard, so therefore I can control the game, and I know where to put players on the floor to be successful, but I also know where to put them where they won't be successful, right? I know how to control a game to that level, and LeBron James is supremely talented at putting players in the right spot to be successful within an offensive system. That's the reason why a lot of people say that he within himself, he's a system unto himself. But what happened? The Lakers, for whatever reason, decided that they wanted to react to what the Brooklyn Nets were doing. And in my opinion, I think what they ended up doing was they overreacted. They overreacted by going out there and making a trade to get Russell Westbrook on their roster. And of all of the moves that I've seen the Lakers pull off or teams pull off in the NBA, that was one of the most head-scratching decisions I had seen in a long time. Now, we all know that the Lakers are all about star power, right? They're all about big names, flashy things, flair, and all of these different things. However, I just didn't understand why they felt the need to go after a big name player like Russell Westbrook, especially given the fact that the Lakers want to win an NBA championship. This is something that I just didn't understand. A lot of people didn't understand. Including Skip Bayless, Chris Broussard. So many people didn't get it. Even Shannon Sharp at the beginning when they initially pulled off the trade, even he didn't understand why the Lakers went out there to do that. Now, some people that feel like, no, Russell Westbrook is a great pickup because he puts up great numbers, right? I think 4 out of the last 5 seasons or 3 out of the last 4 seasons, he's averaged a triple-double, something that a lot of people thought that couldn't be done, right? He did that. So a lot of people are like, man, you have a once-in-a-lifetime generational type of talent in Russell Westbrook. But there's some facts to the matter. There's some harsh realities about Russell Westbrook's game that I think a lot of people are overlooking or people are not talking enough about in the major sports media networks. Number one, Russell Westbrook is a terrible decision maker with the basketball. He is terrible. How do I know this? Just last season, Russell Westbrook averaged 4.8 turnovers a game. I want you guys to just mull that over for a second. This guy was averaging about 5 turnovers a game, essentially at least 1 turnover per quarter. That's absurd, right? That's how many turnovers he was averaging last season. On top of that, he is not a great shooter. If we went into the advanced analytics, which I will not, because I have other points I have larger points that I want to make in this particular video here, you will see that Russell Westbrook is a terrible shooter from distance. And given the fact that the Lakers needed to add more shooting and a little bit more spacing to their offense, I just didn't see how Westbrook was going to be one of those people that would help you excel in that area. Now, some people say, well, they got Carmelo. But Carmelo's not a starter. These are bench players, and these are players coming in at different points of the game. Obviously, Trevor Ariza, he's going to be out for some time because he's injured, and he's a great three-point shooter, decent three-point shooter. But Russell Westbrook last season shot 44% from the field. 44%. He shot 65.6% from the free throw line. as your point guard. Those are not good numbers. And to add insult to injury, I want you guys to think about this. Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless were doing like a back and forth, like how many points is so going to average from the three-point line. Russell Westbrook shot 31.5% from the three-point line last season. 31.5%. And in typical Russell Westbrook fashion, he starts off the preseason, and I think it's in 2 games, the guy has 16 turnovers. 16 turnovers? He had more turnovers in those 2 games than he did have points. He had more turnovers than points. And people are like, well, that didn't really happen. It's not a big deal, whatever. I'm like, the guy had 9 turnovers in just the last game. Russell Westbrook is a immensely talented individual, but he doesn't play under control. His RPM is always at 8,500. Like he's always redlining it. And with that type of play, you as a point guard, you have to know when to dial it up and be able to pull it back, right? But Russell Westbrook is always going, 100 miles an hour. And I think that's one of the reasons why Kawhi Leonard said hell no to Russell Westbrook. People are like, oh, Kawhi Leonard, he's shy. He did him stat. What are y'all talking about? If I see a bad relationship down the road, I'm not going to jump into it just because she asked me for my phone number. What are y'all talking about? She wanted to go out with you, but she's toxic. Why the hell would I go out with her? Kawhi Leonard looked at the situation. He said, man, I got enough evidence here to know that me and this guy would not work out well to win an NBA championship. Hell, look how I ended up with. I don't want it. People are like, oh, he snaked him. He did him dirty. No, Kawhi Leonard saw the writing on the wall. He's like, I don't need this. Let me go play with somebody else, right? He decided he couldn't play with him. Obviously, we know Kevin Durant, decided that, he couldn't play with him. We all know that Russell Westbrook has led the league, I think, 4 times in turnovers? That's absurd. That's absurd. That's absurd. And it's not like as if he plays any efficient basketball. So to this day, I really don't understand what the Lakers were doing. If they were trying to match star power with star power, what are you trying to what? You feel what? Russell Westbrook and somehow if Kyrie Irving was playing with the Brooklyn Nets, they would cancel each other out. It's not, no, it wouldn't. Kyrie Irving had a 50-40-90 season last season, man. He had a 50-40-90 season. If we're talking about the numbers, Kyrie Irving was in a different universe last season, man. He scored 27 points per game last year. What did he score? 27 points per game last year. His numbers were just incredible. He shot 50% from the field, 40% from the 3, 92% from the free throw line. From the free throw line. He got you 6 assists and 4.8 rebounds and 1.4 steals. These 2 players are not comparable. So if the Lakers were trying to counter Kyrie with Russell Westbrook, I think they kind of missed the mark. Now, obviously, it's still early. It's just a preseason. We haven't seen the entire product on the floor together, talking about LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and all of these guys. And obviously, they're going to play much better once all of them are on the floor. But I just feel like the Lakers tied an unnecessary anvil to their feet and said, okay, let me go swim in the ocean now. They just made things unnecessarily harder than it needed to be. And to me, I don't understand how this situation is going to pan out ultimately. Now, I could be wrong. Some people, I was wrong about the Brooklyn Nets initially. They turned out great, and maybe I may be wrong about this situation, but Russell Westbrook is your point guard. I'm not feeling it. So those are my thoughts and opinions. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.